snap. There's the kick. It's gone! Oh my gosh! The kick is gone!
Boston Sports Nerds present Joe's Fantasy Field Goal.
What's up, guys? This is Joe from the B.S.N podcast, and we are I'm launching a new kind of, how do I want to say it? It's like a brother podcast to the Boston Sports Nerds podcast. It is called Joe's Fantasy Field Goal. As you heard in the intro, I worked on very hard yesterday. I am going to be giving you fantasy advice throughout the season, the upcoming season. I'm going to be doing these probably once every 2 weeks. I was going to start it later, closer to the season, but the lack of podcasts this week with the regular podcast, the BS Nerds podcast, I bumped it up just to fill the void a little. So I'm going to be doing this starting now once every 2 weeks until August when the preseason starts. I'm going to start doing it every Tuesday. I'm going to try and record it and put it out on Tuesday. That way, once the season starts, the fantasy season, you guys can get all the info for the waiver wire pickups and stuff like that. So the reason it's called Joe's Fantasy Field Goal, because as we all know, a field goal in football is 3 points. So that's exactly what I'm going to give you. 3 fantasy points to help you win your fantasy league, hopefully. I just really love fantasy football. I've been playing it a long time. I finished, not to brag, I was in 3 leagues last year. I finished as champ of my league in work. I had the best record in my family league and then got unlucky in the playoffs, even as the 1 seed and lost, which is shitty. And in my league that I run, I finished as the Sacco, or last place. But don't let that fool you. I just got unlucky. We're going to get into it. So, the first point on Joe's Fantasy Field Goal, the very first episode, is actually not anything that's going to help you with your fantasy season at all. So, I guess it's not a good way to start, but fuck it. I'm going to start with a rant. And that is a rant on IDP. I don't know if you guys know what IDP is. I'll break it down for you. In standard fantasy football leagues, you get a defense/special teams. That way, anytime that defense, plays well, they stop the other team. Anytime that special team scores a touchdown, you get points for what that defense does. Usually you play matchups and I guess I can turn it into a tip. If you're playing defense special teams, unless you get a unbelievable defense, and you probably spent way too high of a pick on that, pro tip, don't be the guy who takes the fucking first defense. Don't do it. You don't need to. Stream your defense. Streaming means play the matchups. Pick up and drop defenses. It's the easiest way. You don't have to spend draft capital early on a defense. Your defense and your kicker should be your last 2 picks. Always. Always, 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 always. Do not be the guy who drafts a defense early. Anyway, IDP is for terrorists. It is for the people who are in leagues and they do not play where you pick an entire defense/special teams. You just pick one defensive player. As an example, in an IDP league, I wouldn't pick the Texans defense. I would pick J.J. Watt or wouldn't pick the Panthers defense. I would pick Luke Kuechly. These leagues and people who play by these rules, they were created by ISIS. This is not how Americans play fantasy football. I don't know who started it, but every time I see an IDP league, I cry a little inside. So, I guess if you play IDP league, more power to you if that's what you've been doing for a long time, but I am not a fan, and neither should you be. Anyway, on to fantasy field goal point 2. This is actually a tip. Everybody wait on quarterback and tight end. Do not pick a quarterback or a tight end early because, guys, all right, if you're a guy who takes Aaron Rodgers in the first round, I cannot be a friend. I cannot be your friend. I can take Blake Bortles probably after the draft. And as shitty as Blake Bortles was last year, he was a top 10 fantasy quarterback. So let's say I have pick 108. So that means most likely the three big, and that's fantasy field goal point 3 today is going to be my running back rankings. So if I have pick 108, that means the three big running backs on the board that are going to go in the first round or early in the first round, which is Lev Bell, DJ, and Ezekiel Elliott in some order. Those three guys are going to go very early. And then the three big receivers, which is Antonio Brown, OBJ, and probably Mike Evans or Julio Jones. They're all going to go. It's Julio Jones. It's not Mike Evans. Mike Evans is the fourth one. But those 6 guys are going to go. Mike Evans is probably going to go. And then some idiot is going to take Aaron Rodgers. Unless you're in a good league and that doesn't happen. Hopefully you're in a good league. But, there's a bunch of idiot leagues. Don't take Aaron Rodgers in the first round. Don't take Aaron Rodgers in the second round. Don't take Aaron Rodgers in the third round. Don't take Aaron Rodgers. Maybe you could think about him in the fourth round. But I probably still wouldn't take Aaron Rodgers in the fourth round. Why? Because I know I can get a top 10 fantasy quarterback in Blake Bortles or Andy Dalton or Matt Stafford wasn't a top 10 fantasy quarterback. But anyway, I can get a good fantasy quarterback late in the draft. Maybe even after the draft. Curious how many drafts you guys do this year where Blake Bortles isn't drafted. And I'm talking about standard one quarterback leagues. I guarantee he goes undrafted. He was a top 10 fantasy quarterback last year, and the rumors were he was playing with a separated shoulder. So think about that. He had an awful season last year. He's probably not going to get drafted. And you could pick him up after the draft. And that means you can spend all of your draft capital filling in the other positions that actually have a wider gap and skill. Like running backs. I named you the first 3. Lev Bell, DJ, Zeke. Then there's a drop. Then there's some more guys. And then there's a drop. There's probably about 12 or 10, 11 really, really solid guys, and then it falls off the face of the planet, and you're just hoping you hit on someone. Hoping. And instead, you watched all 12 of those guys go because you took Aaron Rodgers in the first round when you could have got Blake Bortles last. And you know what? The difference between Aaron Rodgers and Blake Bortles, huge on the field, not that big in fantasy football. Not when I spent the 108 on Shady McCoy and I still had a top 10 fantasy quarterback that I didn't even draft. I didn't spend any draft capital on him. I just picked him up off the waiver wire. Or I picked him with the last pick. So all I'm saying is, and tight ends too. Tight ends you can stream, unless if Gronk falls, obviously you take Gronk. You take the risk. If Jordan Reed falls, you take the risk. But you can get by streaming tight ends. You can absolutely get by streaming tight ends. You can play matchups. You can play, if a guy gets hot and he kind of streak, or if you see offenses start leaning towards the tight end, if there's a big injury at receiver, another guy, the tight end's going to start getting more looks. You can play all those things off the waiver wire because there's going to be an abundance of tight ends on the waiver wire. So unless you can get those two dudes, Gronk and Jordan Reed, and I'm not spending first round capital on Gronk. I'm not spending first round draft capital on Jordan Reed. I'm probably not spending second round draft capital on either of them. Or third. Because I can get Shady McCoy in the first, or DeMarco Murray, or Devonta Freeman, or Michael Thomas. Probably not in the first round, but that's your second round pick, you know what I mean? Coming back the other way. So, wait. I promise you it'll work out for you. Wait on quarterback. Wait on tight end. Spend that draft capital on those position scarcity positions like running back, and wide receiver is not really. There is a drop off in wide receiver, but you can find good wide receiver. You can find wide receiver 3s on the waiver wire a lot. Wide receiver 1, a high wide receiver 2, it's harder to find. And I'd rather boost my chances by drafting a lot of guys early in those rounds. Those top rounds, getting top talent at wide receiver and running back, than wasting an early pick on quarterback when I know that talent's going to be there at the end. So wait on quarterback because you can still get good ones at the end. Wait on tight ends because you could take a flyer and end up with a tight end one because tight end is unpredictable as fuck. So that's my second fantasy field goal point. And as I said earlier, my third fantasy field goal point, and the big one for tonight, is the running back rankings. I'm going to give you guys my top 15 fantasy running backs. So I guess I'll go through the list and I'll say a little bit about each of them. My number one fantasy running back this year is Lev Bell of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know a lot of people have David Johnson as their number one running back. Le'Veon Bell was on pace. He was on an insane pace, a better pace than David Johnson, if only he wasn't suspended. So I think Le'Veon Bell is the best running back in football. I think he is going to be just, hopefully, I'll put this caveat out there. These rankings are obviously barring injury. I'm not going to try and predict injuries. You can't live your life saying, oh, that guy is going to get injured. Obviously, take in people who are injury prone into account. Lev Bell has dealt with some injuries, but to me, when he's healthy, he's the best guy. So I have him as my number one. DJ is my number two. That dude is amazing. If you're in a PPR league, maybe DJ's your number one. I think he had 80 receptions last year, which is unheard of. Is that 8? I'll check the stats after, but I'm pretty sure he had like 80 receptions. He had more receptions than like Dez Bryant. Big name receivers. David Johnson, who's a running back, ran for over 1,000 yards. He is a beast. He'll still be a beast. That offense is going to run through him all day, all night. Pick David Johnson early. Pick him often, as many times as you can, and ride him to a fantasy championship. Pick number 3, my third running back. He might be number 1 if you're just doing standard leagues, no points per reception, not even half point per reception. If it's just simply yards and touchdowns, my number 3, Ezekiel Elliott. He might be the number 1 in a standard league, but I'll have him at number 3. I probably will still pick Lev Bell or DJ over him because, receiving yards are receiving yards. But number 3 is Zeke. He's still behind one of the top offensive lines in football. I know they had a little bit of turnover. He's still super talented. It's still a run-first game plan. And the dude was a beast last year. So stay on Zeke. He's still my number 3. Number 4, and this is another guy, if he stays healthy, Shady McCoy. Listen, the Buffalo offense is Shady McCoy. And as we all know, because this is a podcast off of a Boston sports podcast, Mike Gillislee is not on the team anymore. Mike Gillislee stole 8 touchdowns from Shady McCoy last year. 8. He's gone. Shady McCoy is pretty much uncontested in that backfield. He is going to be a boss this year. I dropped my pen. He's going to be a boss this year if he can stay healthy. Hopefully he will. It is going to be run in Buffalo because who the hell are they going to pass to? Sammy Watkins, if he's healthy, I guess. They drafted Zay Jones. Maybe. Charles Clay. By the way, wait on Charles Clay. Pick him up at the end of your draft because he's probably going to be targeted a lot and no one's going to draft him. I think his ADP right now is undrafted. So Charles Clay, tight end sleeper, that's a little extra point, I guess. But yeah, number 4, Shady McCoy. My number 5 running back is DeMarco Murray. The dude is a beast, and he is the focal point of the Tennessee Titans offense. I think they call it like an exotic power run scheme or something like that. He benefits from having a running quarterback, as most running backs do. I know some people are worried about Derrick Henry, but don't be. By all accounts, DeMarco Murray is the guy in Tennessee, and he is going to be fed. Dude's going to be a beast. This year, ride him until he's getting older, but, whatever. He'll be fine this year. Number 6 is Devonta Freeman. Devonta Freeman, I think, is in a contract year this year. Atlanta is one of the most, if not the most, high-powered offense in the NFL. I mean, obviously last year they were the most high-powered offense in the NFL. They did lose their offensive coordinator, Kyle Shanahan. He went to San Francisco, but they brought in, what's his last name, Sarkisian from Alabama. That might be wrong, is his last name. The dude from Alabama. They brought him in to be the offensive coordinator. All accounts is that he runs pretty much the exact same offense. So, Devonta Freeman is a go. Play him. He is... Little known fact, I know a lot of people will worry about Tevin Coleman being in that backfield. Devonta Freeman was better when Tevin Coleman got carries, statistically, than without Tevin Coleman. So don't worry about Tevin Coleman. That offense is going to be a beast. They'll probably regress a little. I can't imagine they're going to be as good as they were last year on offense. They'll probably regress a little, but Devonta Freeman will still be a feature. He is game script proof, no matter what. If they're getting blown out, if they are blowing people out, if the game is close, Devonta Freeman will always be on the field. He rushes, he catches. Devonta Freeman's my number 6. My number 7 is Marshawn Lynch. If he's healthy behind that Oakland Raiders line, I mean, he's going to be tough to stop, man. Marshawn Lynch was tough to stop behind a Seattle line that wasn't great, and that Oakland Raiders line is no joke. I mean, they are, if it's not, the Tennessee Titans have a great offensive line too. They're probably top 3. It's Oakland, Tennessee, and Dallas. Top 3. Not in any order or anything. But Marshawn Lynch behind that line. I mean, Latavius Murray is not a good running back, and he was a touchdown fiend behind Oakland's line. Pretty much was only a productive running back last year because of the touchdown opportunities he got. behind that line and in that offense. It's a high-powered offense. They score a lot, and Marshawn is going to thrive over there, I think, as long as he's healthy. I know he's had some back problems. So I mean, these are early running back rankings. We're not even in preseason yet or anything like that. So obviously keep an eye on all these. I'll probably do another one closer after watching some preseason and stuff like that before drafts. But Marshawn Lynch is my number 7 for right now. Number 8 is Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon of the now Los Angeles Chargers. He is an enigma, kind of. He's not really a great running back. Go look at his yards per carry. You know what I mean? He struggles. The only thing with Melvin Gordon is there's no one else there. He's getting all the love. He's getting all the carries. He's getting all the receptions. He's getting all the goal line work. He's just getting fed, no matter what. And opportunity is hard to pass on in fantasy football. Opportunity is almost better than talent in some cases. You could have a really talented dude like Tevin Coleman, for instance. Tevin Coleman as a starting running back who's going to get all of the carries, he might be a running back 1. But he's with Devonta Freeman, so he has limited role. And that opportunity makes Tevin Coleman nowhere near the top 15. But Melvin Gordon, he is by himself. He is lone share of that backfield back there, and I guess you just ride the opportunity. I like Melvin Gordon this year because they didn't add anyone. They didn't add any. If they would have added a rookie running back, I'd probably be down on Melvin Gordon a little. But they didn't. He's pretty much uncontested back there, and they improved their offensive line. You can't stack the box because it's still Phillip Rivers, and actually they added a wide receiver weapon. So stack the box if you want, and Phillip Rivers is going to throw on you. So I'm not worried about Melvin Gordon this year. Again, as long as he's healthy, he'll be fine. He's going to get fed. Number 9 is Jay Ajayi. This dude broke the fuck out last year. I get the team didn't trust him at the start of the year, and then the dude ran for 200 yards in a game, and then he did it again, and I think he did it a third time. I think it was 3 200-yard games, and then I think he had a couple 100-yard games, and he had some real bad games too. I mean, don't get me wrong, the dude wasn't just putting up crazy numbers, or else he'd be number 1. But I like Jay Ajayi this year. He is a little bit of a risk because there are some other pieces in that backfield. Is it Kenyon Drake? Is that who it is? I can't think of the dude's name. There's another running back over there that they like, but I think he's more of a third down guy. It's going to be mainly Jay Ajayi show, and they were feeding him towards the end of the year, and he has another year in Gase's system. He'll be a good option this year. So Jay Ajayi, my number 9. Number 10, and this might be high for some people because he's a Brown, and strictly only because he's a Brown. And who the fuck wants to have a player from the Browns on their fantasy team? But Isaiah Crowell. This dude was a running back 1 last year. And the offensive line, what the Browns did to their offensive line this year in the offseason is they pretty much just went and said, who are the best offensive linemen that you got out here? Yeah, we'll take them all. So they vastly improved their offensive line this year. And Isaiah Crowell who was a running back 1 last year, is gonna lead the way in that backfield. I know Duke Johnson is there, but they were throwing the ball to Isaiah Crowell late in the year last year. The only thing to watch with Isaiah Crowell is he had some games where he didn't even get over 10 carries, and I'm thinking that's not going to happen a lot. I think Isaiah Crowell is going to have a hell of a year this year, so I have him at my number 10. Ahead of a guy who I am way down on, and Todd Gurley. I don't know if this is a hot take, but I don't think I guess maybe it is. I don't think Todd Gurley's a good running back. He he's not very elusive, and he has trouble breaking tackles. Granted, his offensive line is awful. They have been improved a little bit. They have a new head coach because Jeff Fisher makes everybody mediocre, and the new head coach is McVay is his last name. I can't think of his first name right now, but he was the OC in Washington before becoming the head coach of the Los Angeles Rams. And the Washington Redskins had a damn good offense. So maybe new head coach, slightly improved offensive line, better year for Todd Gurley. But I am not big on Todd Gurley at all. You know what? I just realized I don't have someone on this list. Honorable mention, I guess. Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard is actually probably my number 10. Isaiah Crowell is number 11. Todd Gurley would be number 12. Jordan Howard was the second. He had the second most yards last year in the NFL. And he missed, he wasn't the starting running back until week 3. There's a QB controversy in Chicago. But, I don't know. Jordan Howard will be fine. I can't believe I forgot him off this list. So yeah, I'm sorry guys. Jordan Howard is my number 10. Isaiah Crowell is number 11. Todd Gurley is number 12. Fuck Todd Gurley. Back to what I was saying. I don't like him. I still think he's going to have a good year because he had the 4th most carries. They feed him the rock a lot. Like I said before, opportunity trumps talent sometimes. And Todd Gurley has a hell of an opportunity. So I still like him. He'll probably just put up yards due to massive amounts of carries. But I just don't think he's as good as advertised. So that's why he's my number 12 now. Number 13 is Lamar Miller. I had Lamar Miller in my fantasy elite on my fantasy team last year. I drafted him in my keeper league with my first pick because I was high on Lamar Miller getting all of the opportunity in Houston. It should be noted I didn't have the 101, so no, I didn't choose Lamar Miller over Ezekiel Elliott. I had the 103 in a keeper league, so other guys weren't there. But I really like Lamar Miller. I really liked him last year, and I was disappointed. He had some good games. He had mostly average games. He was great if you only needed 10 points. If you only needed 10 points from your running back, Lamar Miller was a great running back to have. If you wanted anything else, like running back 1 numbers, like how you drafted him, Lamar Miller was not a great running back to have. He was a couple weeks against really bad defenses, but that's it. And he got hurt at the end of the year. And he's coming back, and the quarterback situation is only barely better. They have a rookie now. I guess it's a huge improvement over Osweiler because he is awful, but whatever. You still have a rookie quarterback. And they drafted a running back. The dude from Texas. Why am I blanking on his name right now? Fuck. Anyway, they drafted a running back, a good fucking running back. Deonta Foreman. Foreman? Anyway, they drafted him. That dude is nasty. They took him in the 2nd or 3rd round or something like that. And they're obviously going to use him. He's a big bruiser. He's the opposite of fucking Lamar Miller. And I'm worried about those Lamar Miller already didn't have a lot of touchdowns last year. I think he only had 6. And now they have this big goal line back to come in and take touchdowns away from Lamar Miller. And you know what? If you're going to draft Lamar Miller, look for Deonta Foreman as a handcuff later in the draft or after the draft if he goes undrafted. But try and get them both, because if Lamar Miller goes down, I have a feeling that Foreman kid's going to be a stud. But Lamar Miller is my number 13. Number 14 and 15 are rookies. Number 14 is Leonard Fournette. I like Leonard Fournette a lot. I know there are questions about whether he's going to catch the ball out of the shotgun or whatever, but he's going to be the starting running back. You don't pick someone uh, in the first round. What is it, fourth pick or third pick or whatever the fuck they drafted at the Jaguars? You don't take someone there not to play him. He's going to play. He's going to get a lot of carries. Uh, he's going to make that offense better. That defense is going to probably, I think it's going to be good. I said this last year about the Jaguars, and I was disappointed on how they played on defense. That defense is going to be good, I think, this year, which means that offense is going to be getting the ball back a lot. And they're going to be able to run games out. Hopefully. That's the plan. As long as Blake Bortles doesn't throw 30 picks, which is probably also going to happen. Leonard Fournette is going to have a good season this year. Even if he's limited on third down, he's probably still touching just up there, right on the fringes of running back one, probably high running back two. So I like Leonard Fournette as my number 14. And the other rookie I have is Christian McCaffrey, especially in a PPR. Again, you don't draft someone pick 8, round 1, to not use them. I know they still have Jonathan Stewart, and they took is it Curtis Samuel? Is that his name? Another dude who's kind of like a running back wide receiver hybrid. But you're not. They took Christian McCaffrey first round, pick 8. They're going to use him. He's going to catch passes. He's going to get not a ton of carries, but enough carries. The only thing I'm worried about Christian McCaffrey is touchdowns, because you have a freaking fullback as a quarterback in Cam Newton, and he can just do those quarterback dives or quarterback sneaks and get in the end zone. You have a power running back in Jonathan Stewart who's going to get in the end zone. So if Christian McCaffrey's going to score, he's probably catching a pass and taking it to the house, or no, that's the only way Christian McCaffrey's going to score. He's either taking a pass to the house or breaking a run to the house. There's no way he's getting goal line work. Christian McCaffrey's good in PPR, half point PPR. He's high. Standard leagues, he's probably a little lower. He might not be in the top 15 in a standard league, but he'll be close. But either way, I'm still high on Christian McCaffrey this year. So that's it, guys. That's my top 15 running backs. I'll read them back to you because I fucked up. Forgot Jordan Howard. I guess the real honorable mention was Frank Gore, who was originally my number 15 until I realized that Jordan Howard wasn't on the list. Frank Gore is always... You can get Frank Gore real late. Not real late, but later than you can get any other. Frank Gore is always like the running back 12. He's always like the running back, like right on the edge of running back 1. You know what I mean? So, even though he always gets overlooked because he's an old-ass man, they did bring in another young running back whose name escapes me right now, and the Colts offensive line is still a piece of shit. But somehow Frank Gore always gets it done. He always gets right around 1,000 yards. He's always good for a couple touchdowns. Well, more than a couple. So don't sleep on Frank Gore. He's usually a great value later in drafts. And you could end up with a fringe running back 1, which is great. If you can get him, around 5, 6, 7, that's great. But yeah, guys, that's my top 15. I'm going to read them back to you with Jordan Howard inserted where he should have been. Lev Bell's number 1. DJ is number 2. Zeke is number 3. Shady McCoy is number 4. DeMarco Murray is number 5. Devonta Freeman is 6. Marshawn Lynch is 7. Melvin Gordon is 8. Jay Ajayi is 9. Jordan Howard is 10. Isaiah Crowell is 11. Todd Gurley is 12. Lamar Miller, unlucky number 13. And the 2 rookies closing it out, Leonard Fournette at 14 and Christian McCaffrey at 15. Honorable mention is Frank Gore. But that's it, guys. That has been a real shaky, sloppy episode. First episode of Joe's Fantasy Field Goal. This is my first time doing a podcast by myself. in my dingy upstairs office on a computer gaming mic. So hopefully the sound quality is pretty good. I know my phone keeps going off. I probably should have put it on silent. But yeah, they'll get better. I should probably get drops for the different points. That would be smart to do. I haven't made those yet, but I will. They'll get better as we go along. So hang in there with me, guys. I'll break down some more rankings through the off season as we get closer to the start of preseason football, and then I'll be going once a week, every Tuesday, hopefully, helping you win those fantasy football championships, B.S. Nerds championships, and dominate all your fantasy football leagues. So, good luck, guys. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.